they came out with a guidance proposal on this navigable water issue. Now keep in mind, the Clean Water Act of 1972 was passed, passed constitutional muster by the Interstate Commerce Clause, by putting the word navigable waters, okay? Okay. Well, what this administration wants to do is go to waters of the U.S., okay? Meaning that there's a nexus, because this water over here, even though it's not navigable, by my definition, impacts the water that is navigable. And so that means that on my highly erodible land in Holmes County, my grass waterways, there's no water, and once it's raining, that would give the EPA jurisdiction in my farm in that regard. That's very scary. So we sent a letter challenging them in that. Okay, we got a letter back last week from them. This is kind of interesting, and I had to read it 10 times. We had the attorneys read it. And I said, well, my interpretation of this letter is it's a lot of double talk, and they're trying to backpedal because they know we're coming after them. And what they said in the letter, that doesn't mean they're not going to stop what they're doing. But they said in the letter, no, that's not what that means. That it's not for the regions, EPA regions office to go out and do this. No, this was just all interagency stuff, and it was just total nonsense. But we tried to get them on record saying something different what they're doing, and we've done that in some of my hearings. And of course, in the full government oversight hearing, Darrell Ice is coming in and Ways and Means, some of the other stuff that's going on. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to expose that stuff, and you know, that's what elections are about, campaigns are about, to bring this about. But we can't unilaterally, as the House, stop that. It takes the full Congress, and we can't do like the president's doing. He's doing unilaterally unlawful. You know, he's changed his signature piece of legislation, Obamacare, I think about 30 times now, and with no legal authority to do it. Yeah. Yes.
When we're talking about waterways, I'm worried about the invasive fish entering into the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
I'm a fisherman and I have an elected fish.
Yeah.
What's happening with that?
Okay, you got the invasive species issue, and you got Asian carp issue.
Right.
Which that's to be invasive species too.
Yeah.
I kind of separate it because there's
Is that what's up to me?
Oh yeah. And we've the Army Corps of Engineers just did a study, and I'm actually talking about doing a field hearing in the Chicago area on Asian carp, because they're coming up the Mississippi River, and they've got what they're doing now. You know, they changed that so they connected the Lake Michigan into Illinois, Chicago River down, you know, in that watershed, and they've got these what are called electric barriers. And so far they're working. They want to put more of them in. There's some people that want to completely break it apart again. Probably not going to happen. Some of their proposals are about $16 billion solutions. So there's some huge issues here. So it's going to be up in my committee to actually probably make a decision someday. We're at the Corps.
How much does recreational fishing and everything bring into the economy?
Oh, it's a lot. The Great Lakes, you know, it's amazing. We know the Great Lakes are 20% of the fresh water supply of the world, but industry statistics, I can also, my committee has jurisdiction, we Army Corps of Engineers. So we're doing all the inland waterway stuff, that's what my water bill's about, and all the ports of the United States, including the Great Lakes. And it turns out, when you put the Great Lakes as a system, okay, because they really are a system, because the ports in the Great Lakes are interdependent of each other. You know, if it's not working up in Lake Superior, Cleveland Harbor, the port's going to suffer. Where the ports on the coast and the Gulf are more independent. They're not, you know, because you move, in the Great Lakes you move resources around, you know, iron ore, the steel mills, blah, blah, blah. So if you put the Great Lakes as a system, this is a really amazing figure. The Great Lakes are 25% of the economics of all the ports in the United States. And so in my water bill, we were able to get the Great Lakes classified in a system, first time ever, which is going to help, because that means the Army Corps will look at it as a system when they're talking about dredging and both at the major ports and also the ports that have tourism and small deals. So yeah, we're working on it, but it's a tough issue. Yeah.
In light of that, how is the Canadians reacting?
Well, there's a Great Lakes Initiative that's the states involved and the 2 or 3 provinces. So there's a Great Lakes Initiative that's been going on. Now, one thing I've done in my committee, we sent a letter to the EPA, haven't got a response yet. There's been a lot of federal dollars put into the Great Lakes Initiative, and the letter we're requesting to do benchmarking. You see where we're at, see where we want to get to. There's a tendency by bureaucrats to say we need more money, and they throw it out, and there's some of it's being wasted, some of it's probably doing some good stuff, but nobody really knows, because there's no, you know, benchmarking or accountability, and I'm trying to get that put in that part of that, because it's a lot of federal dollars. Yeah, Homer. Yeah.
Concerning the Asian park, back in the 30s, when I was a kid, they had a bounty on road rats, mice, and so forth. Now, how about if we put a bounty on Asian park? In other words, whoever produces it, pulls the carp out, and gets a reward for it.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't know, we'll see. I'll ask that question. And I don't know if you've ever seen the video. I'm gonna be a little cynical here. There's a video out there showing people at the Asian carp saying, these suckers get big. Did you see this video where they're jumping in the boat and the guys are whacking them? Yeah. It's like unbelievable, but anyways. But so I need to find out, sir, I need to find out what they're doing on the Illinois River, besides electrical barriers, of course, doing what, you know, if they're trying to, you know,
That would have everybody going after them if they got some money, got some savings.
Back in the back, way back in the back.
Yes, could you speak briefly to the Federal Communications Commission's attempt to put a monitor in every newsroom in the country?
You know, that just seemed to come out this week, so I haven't had much information on that, but on the surface, it seems awful bizarre, but I guess nothing should surprise us anymore. You know, control. One thing that's really bothered me, a lot of things bother me with this administration, but this Washington idea of one-size-fits-all policy, you know, central control, I think that's how the Soviet Union used to be, you know, central control, it doesn't work. And you know, but when it comes to the issue, you talk about the Federal Communications Commission, you're definitely, I don't think there's any doubt, you know, attacking the First Amendment rights. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And FCC, I get FEC, all these have no business in the newsroom, because they were set up to regulate airspace, and now with the new technology spectrum. Okay, the government has to do that because you'd be just a mess. But to come in and say, tell newsrooms and determine what news articles they're going to print or whatever, or broadcast, and that's not their role. And so, he's had his hand up there.
Congressman, thank you for your service. We appreciate that. Is there some way we can call you? No, my main point was, I've got a lot of concern, I think a lot of us here do. There's some ammunition being purchased by departments that shouldn't be buying ammunition. And this is lethal stuff.
Yeah, I know you're talking about, we've looked into that a little bit, because we've had a lot of people ask questions about that. And some of that's been, I think, overblown, debunked, and we're trying to follow that. And I'm not sure, I know Dallas, one of my staffers back here, had a response on that. I don't think it's quite the way it seems, but you want.
That's what I wanted to hear.
The first story that happened on DHS purchasing ammo about a year and a half ago, the original source, InfoWars, did their math wrong, and most likely on purpose to blow it out of proportion. When they say, you know, 700 million or 30 million rounds, whatever, that's the most they're allowed to spend over the course of a 10-year window. Not that they are purchasing 30 million rounds right now, or whatever the number might be.
But that was hollow point ammunition, wasn't it? Still alive. Because hollow point ammunition is against the Geneva Conventions. It can only be used in one place.
Yeah. One thing the Obama administration is doing is actually increase economic benefit. Yes.
DHS would be law enforcement. So why wouldn't they be allowed? State and federal. Why wouldn't they be allowed? That's what they're saying.
What we've done And I think I'm about 90% sure the links are on my congressional website. The House Republican Conference on their website has links that shows all the Benghazi stuff, okay? And where we're at in investigation. I think a lot of missionaries just got linked to it, and it's there.
Well, that would happen if the House voted not to fund some.
If it's on the, and if it's federal agencies on the discretionary spending, that's something that's happening, okay? We just, I think, I just saw a figure, like the EPA, we've cut them over 20%, a year ago. Now, before I got there, they had like 100% increase in their spending. Another couple of things we've done, we eliminated a $1 billion slush fund that Kathleen Sebelius was using. So there's been some things, that came out, that we're not details on firm yet, but that we have been able to stop in this last appropriation bill. But they still, the president, the executive side of things, they're kind of like the CEO of the company. We're kind of like the board. So if you got a crooked CEO and do certain things, it's hard for the board sometimes, and they just fire them. Of course, we can't fire them. And so, but we are been trying to chip away at that, and that's why one reason I think discretionary spending is actually down to levels it's down, because we are been chipping away at some of that stuff. And now that I think I saw a report, there's some question about Kathleen Sebelius doing some awful things to try to raise money for Obamacare, because we've actually cut some away. And last spring, in that continuing resolution, you didn't hear much about, we heard about the continuing resolution, Barack Obama administration requested over $1 billion for more funding for Obamacare. We didn't give it to him. And so, what's frustrating to me is some of our friends, on Fox, don't always tell everything. And maybe they don't. Maybe it's our fault. They don't have that understanding. But some of it is driven. And what's frustrating to me is now that we live in a 24/7 news hour and got the internet and everything. When I was a kid, we'd turn on the news at 6:30 and watch Walter Cronkite. That's how we got our news. And now it's all the time. So everybody's competing. It's ratings. Everybody's competing for funds. And the best example I get, everything is hyped now. Okay, and some of it is for their own advantage. And we hype two things now. We hype the weather and politics. We got two new terms now. We got called new term I learned now, job lock and polar vortex. What the hell happened to cold waves? I mean, there's because of the nature of what's happening on the media, there's some things happening and it doesn't get out. And so, like I said, there's been some good things happen. We've had some good accomplishments in the House, considering we're just a small part of world control. But I'll agree with Sean Hannon on this part. It's not enough. That's right. It's not enough. But if we didn't do what we've done, we wouldn't have gotten what we've done. But he won't give us credit for that.
Every day we go longer with Obamacare, it's never going to. It's never going to happen.
You raise a good issue, a good concern, because historically entitlements, more people get the entitlement. And now here's what's unbelievable. On Obamacare, the tax subsidies are going for low-income people. Not a lot of middle-income people are getting them. They're getting an increase. So we might have a little different thing going on here, than normal. It's not like, when you turn 65, everybody goes on Social Security. It's not. It's a little different. But I think the fundamentals of Obamacare are so flawed that things are going to implode. I'm convinced of that. Now, the question is, when that happens, what happens next? They'll push for a single-payer universal system, okay? And that's why I think we need to put our solutions forward in legislation. We got bills out there, like I kind of talked about earlier, and I think we need to pass them in the House and show here's what we would do. But some of the rhetoric, you'll hear people say, well, the Republicans aren't offering solutions. That's total nonsense. We do have solutions out there. And even Sean Hannity needs to say that, but he doesn't usually say that. I'm picking on him a little bit because I get aggravated with him lately.
We have our last question.
Okay. I'm sorry, back there.
I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, and I understand the budget's a big deal. But as a veteran and somebody who belongs to a lot of veteran
Yeah.
organizations.
Thanks for your service.
You guys have some bridge mending to do over the.
It was already fixed last week.
Well, did it pass?
Yes.
It passed the House,
Passed.
but it's not going anywhere in the Senate, is it?
No, it's done.
Oh, it did make the Senate. Oh, good, good. Thank you. I didn't know it was in the Senate. Great.
Did he sign it?
What's that?
Has
Yeah,
Obama signed it?
yeah, it's done.
Okay.
So, on the,
So what came of that?
yeah, I know, but, yeah. What doesn't serve, some people in the media to talk about it. They attacked us when it happened in the budget last December, they attacked us. And, you know, the problem is, we're trying to cut spending, and I'm not saying that was the right place to cut it, but it doesn't matter what it is, somebody, at some entity or some individual group are gonna be harmed with some of the cuts, okay, it's just a factor. On the military side, we need to do all we can do to support our veterans, especially because, you know where I'm at on that, okay, there's no question about that. But keep in mind, on that veterans issue, that was for veterans that served 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, how about the veterans that served 10 and 15 years? Are we doing enough for them? Now, also keep in mind, just so you know, I'll probably get myself in trouble, but my understanding is their health care, TRICARE, not the veterans, that's another issue, 100% paid for, pensions 100% funded, no share from them, and I'm fine with that. So it's not that I don't think we're not being fair to the veterans, okay? And I supported, giving the full COLA. Nothing was said when this happened, even from, Megan Kelly, who I love, I had to turn her off one night, I was so mad about it. Is that she said, the veterans are getting a cut. Well, that was cut and growth. She didn't say in 2010 the Congress actually gave them more than their COLA increases. So some of this is politics, but that was fixed. I'll end it there.
That wasn't a full cut, wasn't it?
No, it's 1%. If it's 1%, here it is. Let's say the COLA was going up 2%, they would get 1%. If the COLA was going up 0, no cut. They would get. If the COLA was going up 5%, they would get 4%. Okay. And so it was blown out of perspective by some reasons, but I'm told I got mine. So thanks for having me and
Okay, thanks again, Bob, for coming by and talking with us today. Did everybody pick up on Dallas Gerber in the back of the room with the red hat? He's Bob's aide, and if you want to get in touch with Bob or get some constituent service from Bob, just be sure to give
We have a district office in Canton, and I think the main one's in Ashland. And if you can't find information, all you gotta do is Google Bob Gibbs and all those things.
Great, thanks. Anyways, we've come to the end of our program. If nobody has anything additional to do, we will go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Thank you very much for coming.